Think about the nicest person you know, the one who never says no, the one who apologizes when someone bumps into them, the one who laughs at jokes that aren't funny, agrees with opinions they don't share, and bends over backward to make everyone else comfortable. Now ask yourself, do you respect that person? Not like, not appreciate, not feel grateful for. Respect? If you're honest, the answer is probably no. You might love them. You might feel bad for them. You might even take advantage of them sometimes without meaning to. But respect, deep, genuine respect, that's different. Here's the uncomfortable truth that no one tells you. Being nice does not earn you respect. Often, it does the opposite. The people who get promoted, who are listened to, who are taken seriously, they're not always the nicest people in the room. They're often the clearest, the ones with boundaries, the ones who can say no without explaining, the ones who prioritize their own values over others' approval. Today, we're going to explore something that might feel uncomfortable. We're going to look at the difference between niceness and kindness, the hidden costs of people pleasing, the psychology of respect, and how to stop being nice without becoming cruel. This is not a permission slip to be a jerk. It's an invitation to stop abandoning yourself in order to be liked. Because here's what I've learned, you can be the sweetest person in the world, and people will still walk all over you unless you teach them not to. Part 1. Nice vs kind, the distinction that changes everything. Let's start with a distinction that will change how you see every interaction you have. There is a difference between being nice and being kind. Most people use the words interchangeably, but they are not the same, and confusing them is costing you your peace. Niceness is about being pleasant. It's about avoiding conflict. It's about keeping the peace even when the peace is false. Nice people smile when they're hurting. They agree when they disagree. They say yes when they want to say no. Niceness is often performative. It's about how you look to others. Kindness is about being helpful even when it's uncomfortable. It's about telling the truth even when the truth is hard to hear. It's about setting boundaries even when people get upset. Kindness is often not nice, because true kindness prioritizes long-term well-being over short-term comfort. Let me give you an example. A friend asks you to lend them money for the third time. They haven't paid you back from the first 2 times. The nice response, "Oh, of course. Here you go. No problem." You smile. They leave. You feel resentful. They learn nothing. The kind response, "I care about you, but I can't keep lending you money." It's damaging our friendship. Let's talk about what's really going on. They might get upset. They might call you mean, but you've actually helped them by not enabling them. Psychologists have studied this distinction. Dr. John Gottman, the world's leading researcher on relationships, found that couples who are nice to each other avoiding conflict, never disagreeing, have some of the highest divorce rates. Because niceness without honesty is just avoidance. True respect comes from authenticity, not agreeability. People respect you when they know where you stand, when you're predictable in your values, not in your compliance. The writer and theologian Friedrich Buechner said, "The world says, nice people finish first, but the gospel says the first will be last." There's a difference between being nice and being good. Now, let's translate that to your life. Are you being nice or are you being kind? Are you avoiding conflict to be liked? Or are you speaking truth even at the risk of disapproval? Part 2. The hidden costs of being nice. If being nice is so costly, why do we do it? Why do we smile when we want to scream? Why do we say yes when every cell in our body is screaming no? The answer lies in our wiring, the evolutionary root. Human beings are social creatures. For 99% of human history, being excluded from the tribe meant death. Literally, if your ancestors were rejected by their group, they didn't start a podcast, they got eaten by predators. So your brain evolved a powerful survival mechanism, the fear of rejection. Social pain activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. Being left out literally hurts. This is why niceness feels so compelling. It's not weakness, it's survival. Your brain is trying to keep you safe by keeping you liked. But here's the problem, the rules have changed. Your brain hasn't. The fear of rejection that kept your ancestors alive is now keeping you small. It's making you say yes to things you don't want to do. It's making you apologize for existing. It's making you abandon yourself in the name of being liked by people who don't even notice your sacrifice. The psychological costs. Research in social psychology has documented the costs of chronic niceness. Resentment. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you betray yourself. That betrayal doesn't disappear. It accumulates. It becomes resentment toward the people you're trying to please, and toward yourself for being weak. Loss of identity. When you're always adapting to what others want, you lose touch with what you want. Your preferences become a mystery. Your boundaries become invisible. You become a mirror reflecting everyone else's desires, but with nothing underneath. Burnout. Emotional labor, the effort of managing your own emotions to make others comfortable is exhausting. Studies show that people who suppress their true feelings to please others have higher rates of depression, anxiety, and physical illness. The social costs. Here's the paradox that breaks so many people's hearts. The more you try to be liked, the less you are respected. When you're always available, your time becomes worthless. When you never say no, your yes has no value. When you tolerate disrespect, you teach people that disrespect is acceptable. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who were described as agreeable were liked more but respected less. They were seen as warm but not competent, nice but not leader material. The people who were respected most, those who were assertive, those who expressed their opinions even when unpopular, those who set boundaries even when it caused conflict. Part 3. The Psychology of Respect. To understand why niceness doesn't earn respect, we need to understand what respect actually is. Respect is not liking. Respect is not gratitude. Respect is not even admiration. Respect is the recognition of someone's worth, autonomy, or power. It's the acknowledgement that this person cannot be easily moved, manipulated, or dismissed. Psychologists distinguish between two types of respect. Owed respect is the baseline respect we give everyone simply because they're human. You deserve to be treated with dignity. You deserve not to be harmed. This is owed respect. Earned respect is different. Earned respect comes from demonstrated competence, character, or strength. You don't get it just for existing. You get it for showing up consistently, for keeping your word, for standing by your values, for being willing to say no. Here's the problem with niceness. Niceness confuses owed respect with earned respect. You can be the kindest person in the world. You can be generous, compassionate, and caring. That earns you liking. It earns you gratitude, but it does not automatically earn you respect. Respect requires something else, something that feels, to many nice people, like the opposite of kindness. Respect requires clarity. People need to know where you stand. Not just what you prefer, but what you will and will not tolerate. Consistency. Your yes needs to mean yes. Your no needs to mean no. When you say one thing and do another, or when your boundaries shift based on who's asking, you lose respect, courage, the willingness to risk disapproval, to say something unpopular, to disappoint someone who expects you to comply. The philosopher Immanuel Kant wrote about the difference between being treated as a means versus an end. When you're always nice, you risk becoming a means, a tool that others use to get what they want. When you have boundaries, you become an end, a person whose needs matter as much as anyone else's. Respect is the recognition that you are an end, not just a means. And that recognition, you cannot demand it. You can only command it by how you carry yourself, by what you tolerate, by what you refuse to tolerate. The clinical psychologist Dr. George K. Simon writes, "The people who command the most respect are not the ones who try to be liked. They are the ones who are clear about who they are, what they stand for, and what they will not accept, and who communicate that clarity without apology." Part 4. Why you keep being nice even though it's costing you. If being nice costs you respect, why do you keep doing it? Let's get honest. There are deeper reasons, things we don't like to admit about ourselves. Reason number 1, you're afraid of conflict. For many people, conflict feels dangerous. Your heart races, your throat tightens, your brain goes blank. This is not weakness, it's your nervous system responding to a perceived threat. But here's what you need to understand. Conflict is not the enemy. Unresolved conflict is. Avoiding conflict doesn't make it go away. It just delays it and usually makes it worse. The conversation you didn't have becomes the resentment you carry. The boundary you didn't set becomes the pattern you can't break. Reason number 2, you've confused nice with good. Many of us were raised with the message, good people are nice. Good people don't make waves. Good people put others first. But is that actually true? Is a parent who never disciplines their child good? Is a leader who avoids hard decisions good? Is a friend who watches their friend self-destruct and says nothing good? Being good is not about being comfortable. It's about being right. And sometimes being right means being disliked. The most loving people in history, Jesus, Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., were not always nice. They were kind. And kindness often meant challenging the status quo. Reason number 3, you're trying to control how others see you. This is the deepest reason. Beneath all the niceness is a fear. If I stop being nice, people will see the real me. And the real me is not enough. So you perform, you smile, you agree, you disappear. Because being invisible feels safer than being rejected. The psychologist Dr. Brené Brown has spent decades researching shame and vulnerability. She writes, you can't get to courage without walking through vulnerability, and you can't be vulnerable if you're constantly performing. Your niceness is a performance. It's a mask, and masks are exhausting to wear. Part 5, the shift from nice to kind. So how do you make the shift? How do you stop being nice without becoming cruel? How do you earn respect without losing your compassion? Here is the practical framework. Step 1, differentiate between your values and your comfort. Ask yourself, what do I actually believe? Not what's easy to say, not what keeps the peace. What do I actually believe? Your values are the non-negotiables. When you know your values, you know where you can compromise and where you cannot. Step 2, practice the gentle no. Most people think saying no means being harsh. It doesn't. The gentle no, I appreciate you asking, but I can't. That doesn't work for me. I've made a different decision. No explanation, no apology, no over-justification. Just a clear, kind statement of your boundary. Step 3, stop apologizing for existing. Notice how often you say sorry when you didn't do anything wrong. Sorry to bother you. Sorry to ask. Sorry for being here. Replace sorry with thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening. Thank you for understanding. Step 4, let people be disappointed. This is the hardest step. When you set a boundary, some people will be disappointed. They may get angry. They may pull away. Here's what you need to know. Their disappointment is not your responsibility. You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You are allowed to make choices that prioritize your well-being even if those choices disappoint people who want something different from you. Step 5, speak your truth even when your voice shakes. Start small. In a low-stakes situation, say what you actually think, not what you think they want to hear. What you actually think. Notice what happens. The world doesn't end. The relationship doesn't collapse. In fact, something surprising might happen. They might respect you more. Step 6, choose kindness over niceness. Every day, you face a choice. You can be nice, avoid conflict, keep the peace, stay safe. Or you can be kind, tell the truth, set boundaries, risk disapproval. Kindness is harder. Kindness requires courage. But kindness is what builds real relationships. Kindness is what earns genuine respect. Part 6. What happens when you stop being nice? Let me tell you what happens when you stop being nice. Because the transformation is real and it's worth the discomfort, your relationships change. The superficial ones fall away. The people who only valued your compliance, your availability, your willingness to say yes, they drift away. Good riddance. The real ones, the people who love you for who you are, not what you do for them, they step closer. They finally get to meet the real you. The you who was buried under all that performative niceness. Your self-respect grows. Every time you hold a boundary, you send a message to yourself, I matter, my needs matter, my time matters. That message compounds. Over time, you start to believe it. And when you respect yourself, others follow your lead. Your energy returns. The exhaustion of constant people pleasing it lifts. You stop spending hours worrying about what others think. You stop rehearsing conversations, explaining yourself, apologizing for existing. You get your life back. You become someone people actually want to follow. There's a paradox here. When you stop trying to be liked, you often become more likable, but not in the way you expect. You become someone with substance, someone who stands for something, someone who can be trusted to say what they mean and mean what they say. People don't respect the person who agrees with everything. They respect the person who has the courage to disagree. Part 7. The danger when not nice becomes cruel. I want to add a crucial warning before we finish. Stopping being nice is not permission to be cruel. It's not an excuse to be dismissive, aggressive, or unkind. The goal is not to become someone who hurts others. The goal is to stop hurting yourself in the name of being liked. There's a difference between assertiveness and aggression. Assertiveness is stating your needs clearly while respecting others' needs. It's saying no without belittling. It's setting a boundary without attacking. Aggression is stating your needs while dismissing others' needs. It's saying you're stupid for asking. It's attacking someone for having a different perspective. Stay on the side of assertiveness. Be kind but don't be nice. Be clear but don't be cruel. Narrator. The philosopher Aristotle wrote about the golden mean, the balance between deficiency and excess. The deficiency of niceness is cruelty. The excess of niceness is people-pleasing. The mean is kind assertiveness. That's where you want to live, where you are compassionate but not a doormat, where you are clear but not harsh, where you respect others but not more than you respect yourself. Conclusion: the courage to be disliked. Let's come back to where we started. The nicest person you know, the one who never says no, the one who bends over backward to make everyone comfortable. You don't respect them. And if you're honest, you don't fully respect yourself, either because you've been doing the same thing. Here's what I want to leave you with today. You were not put on this earth to be convenient for others. You were not put here to shrink, to apologize, to disappear into what everyone else wants. You are here to be you, fully, unapologetically, with all your edges, your preferences, your boundaries, your voice. And yes, some people won't like it. Some people will call you mean, difficult, selfish. Narrator. Let them. The people who matter won't mind, and the people who mind don't matter. The writer and psychotherapist Esther Perel says, the quality of your relationships is determined by the quality of your boundaries. So start setting them. Start saying no. Start speaking your truth. Start being kind, not nice. Start respecting yourself so others can follow your lead. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are exactly who you need to be, and that is enough. If this video resonated with you, share it with someone who needs permission to stop being nice and start being real. Subscribe for more deep dives into psychology, relationships, and the art of becoming uncheckable. I'll see you in the next one.